if I'm good, if I feel good in my head on the pitch, I will help the team for sure. It's confidence as well. So no, I feel good. I want to help the team to go to the Premier League because I'm here for that. So I hope I will help the team again and again.
One more from me. You go to Leeds United on Monday night, another big club. That must be a game that you're really looking forward to.
Yeah, of course. Every player wants to play a big game. Monday, it will be this, will be that. So
this and that.
Yeah. So no. If we want to be on the top, we have to prepare this game like every game. We have to go to Leeds for win and not for other one. So we'll prepare like we want, and I hope we will win and take a 3 points away.
Merci beaucoup.
Merci.
Total Sport Northeast.
Nick Barnes and Gary Bennett, MBE.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
Enzo Lefebvre with Abdul Salis Samed next to him, who actually speaks perfect English, and he was helping Enzo translate some of the questions he didn't quite understand. Whoa! Ooh, just spilled my tea. That'll warm you up. Just spilled the tea all over me that Marco so kindly brought up for us. But there you go. The evening started well. But as I was saying, Enzo Lefebvre, what a character. We're just wiping the tea off now.
Hey.
Swimming in tea now.
Can't bring you anywhere.
There we go. These things happen, as they say. But we'll manage. We'll get there. Just waiting for the teams to emerge from the dressing rooms down below us. The atmosphere terrific, as you'd expect for such a big game. And here we go. Leeds. Well, that gave us the opportunity to wipe the tea up. So thankful for that intervention from Leeds United as the players out on the pitch. Sunderland in their red and white stripes, black shorts, red and white socks. Leeds, of course, all in white, and the referee all in black is Stuart Atwell tonight. It was to have been Craig Pawson, but a change was effected, and it is now Stuart Atwell who is also a Premier League referee, of course. So now half my page is soaked through with tea, so I can't write anything on that. So it's going to be a very low-scoring game, so I don't have to get down to that part of the...
I was worried about your book. Soaking.
That'll dry out.
That'll dry out.
That'll dry
That'll
out.
dry out, man.
Leeds are going to get this very, very big game underway. The ground is full, and Leeds defending the goal to our left in front of the Don Revie stand as we watch from the John Charles stand, which is opposite that monster Jack Charlton stand on the far side, and the Sunderland fans in the Norman Hunter stand away to our right. So Leeds, as the whistle blown to get the game underway, kicking from left to right, the ball played back by Gruev to Ampadu and Rodon are the two centre backs, and is played across to Firpo on the left hand side, and then across to Rodon again on the right hand side, with Bogle on the right wing, as the ball swept up to Luke O'Neill on halfway wide on the left, closed down by Joe, back out to Sirkin on the left hand side, down to Lefay just in front of Tanaka, the Japanese international, back to the halfway line. Ballard, Hume, and out for a Sunderland throw. We've been playing nearly a minute. Both teams unchanged from their games last week. Leeds 4-0 win at Watford, Sunderland's 2-0 win home to Luton Town. Hume with a throw, back to Ballard in his own half, and then in the middle Luke O'Neill, and O'Neill playing this through to Sirkin on the left in front of Daniel Tharker, and then Enzo Lefay forced back into his own half by Dan James, the Welsh international. Ballard out to Hume then plays it back to Ballard. Don't forget, they are Northern Ireland internationals. It's not just Leeds who has internationals on their books, as Lefay tries to control this and does really well to touch this inside. Plays it to the back of the penalty area. Joe side towards Meslier. He spilled it, and then Roberts tried to put the return ball in, but he couldn't get it in past the keeper. Joe put it back on the right-hand side here to Hume, who crosses, and it's headed clear by Ampadu. Very, very nervy moment for Leeds United. It all came from a slip inside the penalty area, but it let Jobe in. But Meslier made the save, diving down to the post on his left.
And you're just thinking that Joe tried to place it, didn't he?
He did. He tried to decide, put it home into the corner. But now Leeds looking to break themselves. Gruev down that left wing, looking for Solomon. It's one back by Hume, though. He whips it away from Firpo. And it's going to be now Hume again. Slips it inside to Roberts in the middle of the Leeds half. Looking for the run of Isidore, just whipped past him. Just a little bit too much pace on it. Back to Meslier. 0-0.
Great start by Sunderland.
It is.
I think the warning
Look
signs
bright,
there.
don't they? They look bright. They pushed on. Meslier in light blue, looking to roll the ball out. He's got the two centre-backs either side on the 18-yard line. Here's Ampadu. Ampadu back to Meslier, 24 years old now, the 6'6" keeper who went to school with Lefay. It's kicked up through the middle. Pirot trying to get this, but he's got away from Dan Neil. Pirot trying to pick out at the edge of the penalty area one or two Leeds players who've made breaks, but it's finally cleared by Sunderland for a throw on the left-hand side. Solomon up at the edge of the area. Brendan Aronson, the American, as well. Tanaka puts the ball out, knocks it off Sirkin for a throw to Sunderland on this left-hand side. Sirkin finds Lefay deep in the Sunderland half in the corner. Luke O'Neill hooks it up into the middle, headed on by Gruev, the Bulgarian. And then Hume at the edge of the area, tidying up back to Patterson, who, like the referee, is all in black and dark grey. I'm surprised he's allowed to. Now Bogle trying to get round O'Nien. He's blocked. The ball breaks though for Leeds. Tanaka on the corner of the penalty area. Back out to James on the right wing, on the touchline almost. Finds Tanaka behind him. Rodon's behind him. He's played it back to Joe Rodon, the former Tottenham centre-half. Initially here on a season loan, but signed in the summer. And down the right, Dan James looking for Bogle. Bogle down into the corner. He's got Sirkin in front of him. Tries to cross, corner off Sirkin. First corner of the evening. Leeds have it on the right-hand side. And who is coming down to take this? Bogle back up to the centre circle. A couple of players outside the penalty area for Leeds. Gruev, I think, yeah. Ilya
Gruev, yeah.
And
concentration here.
Yeah, played it short here now to Solomon. He's trying to come into the penalty area. He's got Lefay to come past, plays it back to Gruev, then James slips it into Solomon, down on the byline, pulls it back, gets it back again, and Solomon now trying to get in around Lefay. He's got James behind him, and Solomon just lays it off to James. James now trying to get the ball into Solomon again. Job in front of him and Lefay. Job trying to stick with Mana Solomon, and he's come back here now to Bogle. Bogle into the centre circle to Rodon, and Rodon across to Ampadu, just inside the Sunderland half. Back to Rodon, lays it off to Ampadu again, and then down the line on the far side, Firpo, and the Dominican Republic international plays it back to Ampadu. Ampadu to Tanaka on the halfway line. In the 7th minute, 0-0. We're live on BBC Radio Newcastle. James down this right touchline. Lefay going with him. Sirkin tries to block. The ball runs behind for another corner. Took a deflection before Patterson could get his hands on it.
Again, concentration here.
Gruev coming down again to take the corner kick. Bogle goes back up to the centre circle. 4 years at Sheffield United. He joined Leeds in the summer. So Gruev from the right, the second corner. Low, hooked away firmly by Patrick Roberts. Bogle runs onto it. Out to Solomon, the Israeli international. Now picked up by Aronson, an American international. Back to Ampadu, Rodon, the two Welsh internationals together at the back. And back to Meslier. Puts his foot on it just outside the penalty area. Kicks clear of Isidore. Long ball up the left wing, looking for Solomon. It's come back to Job in the centre circle, who plays it behind him to Ballard, and he whips it on up past Dan Neil to Chris Rigg. I think he's got his first touch there, and Neil sweeps it out to Lefay on the left wing inside the Leeds United half. Back to Job to O'Nien. O'Nien squares the ball to Ballard back to O'Nien. And O'Nien up on the halfway line, down the left to Sirkin. Lefay is ahead of him, but Dan James is blocking that route back to Lefay as it's come all the way back to Ballard.
Humes had a knock on his, Humes struggling.
Yeah, crouching down.
He's warned him twice to put the ball out.
And so now Hume can get some treatment.
If he has to go off, then I think Mepham is the man to come on.
O'Nien go to right back.
Right, yeah.
And that's probably if that is the case.
He'll be a miss though.
Yeah. So we're 9 minutes into the game, a potential substitution. There's a lot of pointing, and Mepham is warming up, as is Hjelde down below us. Hume is still receiving treatment on the touchline. So what has been a lively start?
Chance here there by Bellingham.
It was a good shot. He should have just smashed it, shouldn't he?
Tried to place it.
Perhaps if he just smashed it, he might have had more joy. Hume back up on his feet.
It seems all right.
Looks to be okay. He's headed off to the touchline on the far side, and I think he'll resume. It's a case of can he resume and carry on. Ball's come back to Ampadu as play has resumed. Out to Firpo, back to Ampadu, across now to Rodon. Out wide to Bogle, and Bogle plays it inside to Tanaka. Sunderland push.
He's still drying off.
I'm still drying tea off everywhere. So I'm sitting in one of those uncomfortable situations where you know your bottom's wet, and you can feel it seeping through your trousers, can't you? As James gets the ball out to Bogle on the right. The face stabbed at it, and now Bogle tries to cross, and Sirkin blocks it. Marco's coming to my aid with some tissues, which is a godsend. Not for the bottom, but certainly for the bottom. As the ball goes behind again, for another.
Again, sometimes you're just going to put your foot through the ball. Lefay.
It's a third Leeds corner. It's 0-0. We're in the 11th minute. The Gruev again is going to take the corner.
Get out. You need 2 men out. Go through.
It's played to the back of the penalty area again. Gruev gets it back on this right-hand side, plays it back again to James on the right, just outside the area to Gruev. He tried to slip it down the right of the area, but James didn't read that pass, and it's hooked away up to halfway by Joe onto the head of Bogle. Nodded it down. Rodon almost slipped. Rigg was advancing. He's played it out on the left to Ampadu. Ampadu taking this forwards now for Leeds to Firpo down the left of the Sunderland penalty area. Crosses and Patterson catches it. Easy take, right into his hands in the right positioning.
You just look at Will Tanita though, what I've seen of him already, he looks sharp. I just think that we can get behind him.
Patterson, there's Pirro in the penalty area. James is out on the 18-yard line. So Patterson forced in the end to say, right, just go upfield and I'm going to kick it long. And Pirro hangs around the edge of the area. Leeds fans and Daniel Farke are getting impatient. And the kick high up into the sky here. We lose sight of it in front of the TV gantry before it drops in the middle. And now trying to stab at it is Chris Rigg. Hume's trying to get the better of Solomon. The ball goes out for a throw to Leeds United. 13th minute, 0-0. Ball back to Ampadu inside the Leeds half. And now with Gruev back to Ampadu. Next Monday night, Leeds play Sheffield United. After that, they've got West Brom. So they've got a couple of difficult games coming up in terms of facing challengers in the promotion race. Their run-in is actually fairly benign. Their last game of the season is away at Plymouth Argyle. Although if Plymouth are still fighting to stay in the Championship, that could be an interesting final day match. Here's Tanaka. Leaves it now for Gruev, who squares it for Rodon in the centre circle. Rodon down this right-hand side, trying to find James, which he does. He's cutting infield now, Dan James. A little bit of space for him. It's stabbed back by Firpo to Gruev, and then to Solomon on the left corner of the Sunderland penalty area, trying to come in past Trey Hume. Now putting it on his right. He's come out of the penalty area. He puts a low ball in. It takes a deflection, which takes it out of the penalty area on the left for Sirkin to lay off down the line to Lefay. Lefay just checks, plays it back under pressure to Sirkin. Firpo goes to close him down. Firpo's switched wings. Sirkin plays a great ball up towards Isidore, but Rodon blocks it and lays it off now to Bogle, who plays it back to Tanaka. Across to Ampadu. Ampadu bursting into the Sunderland half. Rigg going with him. Out wide then on that left-hand side as James, I think it is trying to weave his way in. He's forced down to the goal line by Patrick Robertson. Another corner to Leeds. This is the first on the left-hand side for Leeds. Regis Lebris is frantically just bent down to Pedro Ribeiro and having a conversation with him.
Yeah, they've just got to weather the storm. Simple as that, Nick. Everything will settle down. They'll slowly grow into the game.
Gruev's going to take the corner again from the left. It swings in here. Job heads it across the penalty area for Isidore to break on the left with. He's done well. He's shown some strength here to get away from Aronson, the American, and leaves it for Lefebvre in the middle. It's still inside the Sunderland half, but Isidore did well.
Excellent.
He carried it out very well. Showed a great deal of strength.
That'll do him
Joe
good.
Plays it back now to Dan Neil. Neil back to Patterson at the edge of the Sunderland penalty area. Then passed out to Dan Ballard. Ballard back to Patterson, who passes it to O'Nien. O'Nien on now to Dan Neil. Neil into the Leeds half. Chased by Tanaka. Plays it straight to Daniel James. It's loose. Tanaka picks it up. Dan Neil picks himself off the floor, and Tanaka just taps it back behind him to Rodon at the edge of the Leeds penalty area. Marcos is pointing out it's a slippery surface. It's not been a wet day, but they've been watering the pitch, and it's certainly meant. We saw it early in the game when the Leeds player slipped to allow Job his opportunity as well. Throw to Sunderland, 16th minute, 0-0, live on BBC Radio Newcastle. Humes recovered the ball at the foot of that mammoth stand on the far side. He's about a third of the way back inside the Sunderland half on the right. Firpo puts it out, just stuck out his left leg. Throw on the halfway line now for Sunderland on the right. And back it comes to Ballard and Patterson, who just taps it out to Luke O'Nien. O'Nien out to Sirkin on the left-hand side. Sirkin back to O'Nien. Leeds' only defeat here was on September the 14th, and it was Burnley, and it will come as no surprise, it was 1-0. And their last defeat in the Championship came at the end of November, and that was 1-0 at Blackburn. Here's Lefebvre trying to get round Bogle. He just got a heel to it. Out it runs into the Sunderland dugout. Sirkin takes the throw to Job. Job back to O'Nien. And O'Nien now, Tanaka just in front of him, just squares it to Neil in the centre circle. Back to Ballard. And Ballard into the Leeds half, lays it off to Roberts. Roberts back to Hume. Hume into the centre circle to O'Nien. And O'Nien now looking for the run of Job, but Tanaka cuts it out. Job would have been away. And Tanaka plays it down the right over the top, looking for Pirro, who nods it down to James. The Leeds fans all get on their feet. But they've won another corner, Leeds, as it's put behind on that break.
Yeah, we're just going to be wary of that, especially Dan James. Pace.
Sudden burst from Leeds. And Pirro trying to lay the ball off to James, put behind. Gruev again will take the corner on the right again, below that huge screen between the Norman Hunter stand and this John Charles stand in front of the...
Just be aware, Tanaka's coming over here now.
Tanaka across to the right at the corner of the Sunderland penalty. Aronson's there. It's headed in the air. Out by Job. Aronson trying to put it back in. Blocked. It's come out again to Solomon. And Solomon on the left with Firpo. Firpo forced to play it back to Ampadu on the left of midfield and back to Rodon at the front of the centre circle. Again to Ampadu. Down the left again to Solomon. We've got Pirro at the edge of the penalty area. James is there and so's Firpo. And a sort of smash from Hume, which leaves Solomon on the floor and the ball somewhere in the John Charles stand.
He's been humed.
Charlton stand, sorry. He has been humed,
by the way.
You can hear the Sunderland fans. He's out.
That's what you call a welcome call.
Hume
welcome call card.
Strode away, glanced back over his shoulder.
Fantastic.
That was,
Hey,
a very, very Trey
He'll
Hume
think
challenge.
twice about it next time, by the way.
If there is a next time, because he's getting some treatment now. Flat on his back over on that far side. But you have to say it's been a bright start by Sunderland. 20 minutes, even though they played quite a lot of the game has been played in the Sunderland half. They've looked strong. Isidore looks as though they could have had a couple of breaks. Job's been in that position as well.
Concentration's key, Nick.
Yeah,
That's what it is. You've got to concentrate for the whole 90 minutes.
we'll have a few minutes added on the end of this first half with these injuries. Leeds actually warming someone up as well.
So he's not bad.
No. Still treatment being meted out over on that far side as the players stand around trying to stay warm on this bitterly cold evening. Romain Mundell's going for a warm-up, the first time we've seen him since November, but I think Solomon's on his feet now, but in what state is he? The referee's having a word with him. He's having to go off on the far side, but is he going to continue? The same question we asked to Trey Hume earlier, but he did continue. Solomon's over on the touchline at the foot of the Jack Charlton stand. It's going to be a throw to Leeds. Firpo takes this. Leeds down to 10 at the moment. I think Solomon's going to come back on.
Yeah.
The ball back with Ampadu in the centre circle. 0-0. 21st minute. And the ball played back by Rodon, chased by Isidore. Meslier clears. High ball up into the Sunderland half. Onto the head of Ballard. And it's headed on by Tanaka, looking for Aronson. Brendan Aronson. Signed from Red Bull Salzburg. Last season he spent the season on loan at Union Berlin. Now, here is Lafay down the left. He looks up, chips a nice ball to the edge of the Leeds penalty area, but it's headed away by Rodon. Piro's picked it up through the centre circle to Aronson. Solomon making a run, dash through the middle, but Aronson's taking this on. Neil in front of him, and Aronson now looking for Firpo down the left-hand side, who clips it back to Aronson. Roberts tries to get the ball off him. Aronson comes into the centre and plays it across to the right to Bogle. Bogle now on the right wing for Leeds United, all in white. Sunderland in their red and white stripes. Bogle leaves Lafay and then whips it into the penalty area. He's trying to get it through here, but only nudges it to Patterson.
Well done, Lafay.
Bogle did a Lafay there.
Yeah.
And completely lost him. A little flick inside. Now it's out to Hume on the far side, forwards to Roberts, back inside to Hume. Then picked up by Rigg. He runs into trouble though. Solomon's coming away with this for Leeds United. He's got to help down the left-hand side. It's come back to Tanaka. It's stabbed away only as far as Tanaka at the edge of the area, and picked up by Leeds again on the left. Aronson and Gruev, and now Firpo join this, but the misplaced pass goes straight to Hume, who taps it out to Roberts. Aronson goes to close him down. Roberts plays it inside to Hume, who plays it off Firpo for a goal kick. Well, you've got to have your wits about you with Leeds.
Yeah, you've got to. That's what I was talking about. Concentration for 90 minutes.
Absolutely key. 0-0 though, we're in the 23rd minute. And Patterson with a goal kick. Two Leeds players on the edge of the 18-yard area. Again, they push out because Patterson kicks up through the middle, looking for Isidore, headed away by Firpo. Drops to Dan Neil, out to Patrick Roberts. Roberts now down the right wing for Rigg to chase. Rigg, Gruev goes with him. Surely he's fouled Rigg. Referee says no. Referee Stuart Atwell saw nothing wrong with that block by Gruev on Rigg. And inside to Ampadu, now to Rodon. Rodon out wide to Bogle. Bogle looking to get James through down the right. He gets round Sirkin, gets to the goal line. It's pushed over by Sirkin. There's a little bit of afters here. Luke O'Nien and Bogle, they're still trying to play the ball on the goal line. The referee's come straight up to the pair of them.
A foul.
It's a foul. It's Dan James that was on the goal line with O'Nien. Free kick to Leeds on the goal line, halfway between the penalty area and corner flag. Sirkin fouling the Welsh international. Gruev then will take this set piece. 25th minute, 0-0, live on BBC Radio Newcastle. Bogle back to
like
the
a
centre
corner.
circle.
Make sure he doesn't try to whip it into the near post.
Lots of white shirts on the
Beyond your
6-yard
toes,
line.
Patterson. Be on your toes.
Referee happy now, and with his left, Gruev puts this in. It's nodded down by Sunderland, and Isidore
Well done.
just drives it away into touch on the far side. Closer to the halfway line for a Leeds throw. So Sunderland has seen that one off. Referee just pointing to Firpo to lead him back to where he wants the throw taken. Now with Rodon in the centre circle, pushing it on straight to Dan Neil.
Oh,
He overhit the pass for Isidore, who's slightly frustrated.
yeah.
It's gone all
He
the
was
way through to
away.
Melier.
Yeah. A bit annoyed there.
Just too much weight on it from Dan Neil. And so Tanaka to Rodon to Bogle. And Bogle now, Lefay in front of him, back to Rodon, to Ampadu in the middle, in the Leeds half, to Rodon, back to Ampadu, closed down by Rigg, back to Melier. And Melier passes it out to Ampadu, who plays it long, looking for the run of Solomon, but it'll drop over his and Hume's shoulders and is picked up by Patterson at the edge of the area, rolled to Luke O'Nien, and O'Nien just pauses on the ball, doing exactly what Leeds did last season when they played Sunderland here. Ampadu and Rodon just to walk the ball up to the halfway line with no hurry, no rush to get the ball forwards. Hume on the right plays it back to O'Nien, who gets it off the feet of Patterson. There's two Leeds players around him. O'Nien taps it back to Patterson. Pirro goes to close him down. Patterson launches it with his left up to Jobe, who flicks it round Tanaka, but it comes back to Rodon right here wide on the touchline for Bogle. Bogle now away, being chased by Jobe, swings the ball in. It drops towards Aronson, who gets his left foot to it, puts it over the bar. He's appealing for a corner, but the referee's pointed to goal kick. Brendan Aronson, the 24-year-old American, can't believe it. Capped 47 times by the United States, 8 goals for the 24-year-old from Philadelphia. Patterson gets the ball back, placing it on his 6-yard line in the middle of the Norman Hunter stand end of Ellen Road, behind which the Sunderland fans are in good voice. As he drives this ball up over the halfway line onto the head of Firpo, he nods it down the left here now for Solomon, and he's going to cut inside, and Solomon now in his short sleeves and gloves gets past Ballard. He crosses it off the head of O'Nien, it bounces up towards Lefay. He's nodded down past Bogle. Bogle's got in front of him, got his foot round it, and Jayden Bogle takes this on down to the corner flag, or nearly. He goes round Lefay again, but Sirkin's there to hook the ball away, all the way back up into the Leeds half to Lemelier, who just taps it to Ampadu. Now to Rodon. Again, Rodon down the right to Bogle, trying to find James. Cut out, comes out to Aronson.
That's a foul.
Lefay is down. Aronson's gone to apologise, I think, but that looked like a foul. Did it not?
It's caught Lefay, hasn't he?
It's caught him, but I don't know whether it was intentional or not. Dan Neil's tying up his bootlaces. The referee's come across to see how Lefay is. Aronson's come down to talk to the referee. Sirkin and someone are over.
Luke O'Nien.
Luke O'Nien are over Lefay at the moment. And he's helped up to his feet by Sirkin. And Luke O'Nien talking to the referee. Dan Neil here on the touchline talking to the coaches. Lefay walks away, he's okay. It's a free kick to Sunderland. O'Nien's going to take this. Neil's got a few instructions, and Sirkin taps it back to O'Nien, across on the far side to Ballard, back to O'Nien, and O'Nien out to Sirkin, wide on the left. Taps it back again to O'Nien. 0-0 in the 30th minute, nearly half an hour played. There'll be quite a few minutes added on at the end of the first half. There've been 2 or 3 stoppages of a few minutes. O'Nien on now to Dan Neil, still inside the Sunderland half. Neil out wide to Sirkin in front of Regis Lebris. James bounces off him. Sirkin still going. Bogle stabbed it away. Referee says no foul. And Firpo is on the break here with Solomon on the left wing. Solomon into the Leeds half. Hume's in front of him. Firpo's making the run further forwards. Hume does enough to get the ball off of Solomon. The referee said play on again. Tanaka's ball into the penalty area. It comes off Pirro. He can't control it. Neil trying to come out with it. He's fouled. Caught on the ankles. And there's a yellow card for Tanaka. First booking of the evening goes to the Japanese international.
Yeah. I think there'll be 1 or 2 more following as well, Nick.
Yeah, they're clocking up, aren't they, the fouls? So I suspect there'll be a few warnings. And Tanaka went in and just caught Dan Neil down the shin and ankle. And a booking for Tanaka. Dan Neil up on his feet is okay. Luke O'Nien will take the free kick, taps it back to Patterson. Out here to O'Nien again. And away to Ballard. Ballard up towards the halfway line. It's 0-0. Isidore is onside, is he? The referee is running on. Is it? Oh, surely he's pulled back. He's off the post and
yes!
Isidore scores!
Good
in the 32nd minute. It looked like it could have been pulled back in the penalty area, but Isidore kept going and used his strength and put the ball in off the left-hand post, and Sunderland lead by 1-0.
Excellent play by Wilson Isidore. And what did we say before, Nick? We said Wilson Isidore looks sharp. He just needs the ball down the side, but he used his strength well there. He was getting pulled back.
He was being fouled.
It could have easily been a penalty.
Plowed on.
I'll tell you what, he stayed on his feet. It was a good finish. I thought it wasn't going to go in because it hit the post and then bounced along the line.
He's on his knees, he's praying, and the referees had to come down and tell him to move back up to get the game resumed. But Sunderland lead by 1-0 here.
He loves it.
It's in his element, Wilson Isidore.
Great finish. Tell you what, down the side, used his strength. Ampadu couldn't handle him. But he's had the strength to stay up and finish it.
He did.
Hit the post, bounced along the line.
And in this time. Actually went in this time.
Great start.
32nd minute then. Sunderland lead by 1-0. The first goal Leeds have conceded in the league since January the 4th.
Nick, it's what I've said before. Most teams don't come here, don't put any pressure on Leeds back four. All of a sudden they've got somebody to play against in regards of Wilson Isidore, who's got a bit of pace. They don't like the ball behind, and we've seen that. And what did it do? It ended up with a goal.
So 1-0 to Sunderland. They're going to throw on the left-hand side now. Sunderland. Sirkin's going to take this inside the Sunderland half. Marco's wondering where all the tea's coming from. You missed the tea spillage. You missed the tea spillage earlier on. Whole cup of tea. Oh, and the ball goes out on the far side for a throw to Leeds, but this inside the Leeds half. Wilson Isidore then with his 12th goal of the season. So we're heading towards half-time. Lovely finish from Isidore, but he looked strong earlier on when he was defending, actually.
He said he looked sharp.
Yeah. So now Sunderland have got something to hold on to. Leeds on the attack. Bogle just inside the Sunderland half.
And Ampadu will be wary of his pace.
He will. You hear the Sunderland fans away to our right in full voice. We're live on BBC Radio Newcastle. Leeds United 0, Sunderland 1. As Rodon trying to get the ball forwards again. And now Tanaka through Firpo, out to Solomon on the far side. Solomon, Hume in front of him, slipped through to Firpo. Firpo tries to cross, hooked away behind by Luke O'Nien as they tried to squeeze the ball through for yet another corner.
There's
Leeds
concentration.
corner.
Concentration.
35th minute. Corner from the left for Leeds United. Lots of bodies in there. Skin tight on Patterson, who's claimed the ball, got up smartly, caught it, clutches to his chest and rolls it out, bowls it out to Dan Neil and out to Sirkin on this left-hand side. Sirkin back to Neil, Neil back to O'Nien, across then to Ballard. As we were saying, their recent record against Leeds is pretty good, Sunderland. 0-0 last time out. Job plays the ball back to Ballard. Ballard now looking for Roberts. On his head, he brings it down. Gruev trying to get round the back of him. Roberts holds him off. Roberts slips it in. Sorry, it was Rigg who slips into Roberts. And now Neil. Neil here to Sirkin. And Sirkin back to Neil. Job in the middle. And he got caught by Aronson. Wasn't aware he's behind him, and Aronson just nipped in, got the ball. It's played back into the Sunderland half. Luke O'Nien hooks it out over the top of the Sunderland dugout for a throw to Leeds. Leeds 0, Sunderland 1. 36th minute. Bogle with the throw. Back to Rodon. Rodon into the middle to Ampadu. Ampadu to Rodon. Back to Ampadu, the 24-year-old now, former Exeter and Chelsea midfielder originally, but being converted to defence. And Bogle now down the right-hand side, trying to get away from Lefay. Does so, but across comes Sirkin and a free kick.
Free kick. No need for a challenge there. Dennis
Body checked him. I think he might get a yellow card here, you know. I think the cards come out for Dennis Sirkin. No, he got away with it.
A silly challenge.
I thought he was going to get. I thought he was pulling his card out of his pocket, then it was the spray. But it's a strong, heavy challenge. And
just puts us under pressure. We've got to go and defend this set piece.
So it's as good as a corner. Gruev will take this again on the right-hand side in the 38th minute now. Sunderland leading 1-0. All the white shirts of Leeds on the 6-yard line. It's headed away behind by Trey Hume. It's another corner over on that far side.
And again, concentration again. Command your box.
Gruev having to go across the far side to take this corner. Whips it in. It's a low ball. It's not the best. Lefay knocks it out. It's put back over the bar by James for a goal kick to Sunderland. So waiting for the ball to be retrieved from the Sunderland fans, which finally Patterson went and got another one, and someone's bowled the other ball back onto the pitch. So that's got to be got rid of.
It's the Leeds fans, that.
Oh, was it the Leeds fans?
We're just here in the corner.
Yeah, you're down in that right-hand corner. As the ball kicked up by Patterson into the Leeds half. Now with Ampadu. Ampadu to Rodon. Rodon down the right wing to Bogle. And Bogle flicked it into Andrews, and Aronson trying to get through, but Neil knocks him off the ball. Job plays it out to Lefay. Lefay trying to find Job. He is now found by Rigg, and Job out on the left wing, halfway inside the Leeds half. Checks, lays it back off to Lefay, and Lefay back to Sirkin. And Sirkin back to O'Nien. O'Nien across to Ballard. O'Nien again. We're in the 39th minute. Leeds 0, Sunderland 1. As Ballard up to the halfway line, into the Leeds half, being chased by Pirot, lays it off to Roberts and Hume it was. Firpo wins it off him, gets it out the left to Solomon, and he gets inside. He got away from Ballard, who tried to stab at it. He plays it to Gruev through the centre and out to the right wing now to Bogle, and Bogle, Lefay's in front of him, plays it inside again to Ilya Gruev, and then back to Ampadu just in front of the centre circle. Tanaka down the left midfield, and again out wide to Solomon. Roberts in front of me, crosses, a low ball played in quite harshly. It's headed out by Sunderland. It's back up to Rodon, and now Ampadu finds Gruev, and Gruev taking this on into the Sunderland half, lays it off to Tanaka. Tanaka plays it short pass to his right to Rodon, wide to Bogle. Bogle's got Sirkin in front of him, finds Tanaka, looking for Aronson.
Great
Shot blocked by O'Nien. Comes out now to Dan Neal, and now he slips it to Roberts. Roberts looking for the run of Joe, but it gets into Rodon, who got in front of Isidore, who made the break. And back to the goalkeeper. Out comes Rodon. On halfway with Gruev. Then to Solomon. Firpo wide on the left, back to Gruev. Inside to Tanaka. Isidore's dropped into the middle again, and now Rodon. Sunderland getting everybody behind the ball. Bogle at the edge of the area, curls across in, headed in the air by Ballard, caught by Patterson.
Well done. Great defending. Great defending. Keeping the shape.
And Patterson.
And that's what they've got to do.
Yeah, they're going to have to do this 100 and whatever minutes it might be, because we're going to get quite a bit of added time at the end of this first half. 45 minutes to see through then. Second half. Sunderland leading 1-0. Frustrated Leeds fans at the time Patterson's taken with the kick. He finally takes it, hangs in the air, headed on by Ampadu onto the head of O'Nien in the centre circle, and then Dan Neal. He's gone wide. He's been pushed over. He's won the free kick.
Well done, Dan Neal.
Just inside the Leeds half on the right-hand side.
I won't think what the Sunderland players have got to do is brave on the ball. You know, especially when we get the ball back, we've got to keep hold of it.
Well, Isidore's champing at the bit, isn't he? He's absolutely looking for every chance to try and break. Here he is again on the last men in between Ampadu and Rodon. The short free kick tapped to Roberts by Hume, back to Ballard inside the Sunderland half at the edge of the penalty area to Patterson, and Patterson drives this right up through the middle.
Bad kick.
Tanaka got his foot round Job, nodded on by O'Nien to Job. Lovely flick inside to Neal. Neal now out to Roberts on the right wing. Firpo ahead of him. Roberts cutting inside. He's just got clipped, but the ball is rolled for Hume, and then out to Isidore, wide on the right touchline. Inside to Roberts. Roberts comes back and now plays it back onto halfway to Ballard. Ballard squares it to O'Nien. O'Nien out to Sirkin. And Sirkin back to O'Nien. And Patterson behind him. James sprinted to close him down, but Patterson's kicked it up over the head of Isidore. It comes back for Leeds into the Sunderland half. Pirro uses his strength to get it out wide on the left to James into the penalty area. Low ball straight at Patterson at the left-hand post. He had players coming in, James, but he decided to go for it himself. It's played out quickly now to Sirkin on the left wing up to the halfway line. Lefay just outside of him. Lefay taps it back to Job. Lefay's been quiet, hasn't he, the last 20 minutes?
Yeah, just managing the game, Nick. That's what we've got to do.
Ballard back to O'Nien.
He'll have his moment, don't worry about that.
I will. O'Nien again, back from Dan Neal across to Ballard on the right. 44th minute. Tom Neild is the fourth official.
That's a foul.
And that surely was a foul on Rigg, but the referees just let play go on. As then Pirro, I think it was, gets his foot through it. Out for a throw off of Dan Neal, I think it was on his shoulder. 4 Leeds, it's with Ampadu, back to Meslier, and closed down by Isidore, passes it to Rodon on this right-hand side, then out to Bogle. Bogle, Lefay in front of him, gets it inside to Dan James, tackled by Sirkin, picked up by Rigg, slips it through to Roberts now, the edge of the area. Roberts, was he pulled back by Firpo? Referee doesn't think so. Roberts didn't object, and now looking to try and get Solomon away, but it drops over his shoulder. O'Nien plays it back to Patterson, who taps it out again to Luke O'Nien, then out to Lefay on the left-hand side. Lefay inside to Job, back to O'Nien. Patterson here being closed down by Dan James, plays it to Ballard. Solomon in front of him. Ballard plays it down to the halfway line, where Firpo just manages to keep it in. It's put out by Ballard. It's a throw in this last minute of the 45 to Leeds, quickly taken by Firpo. Back to Ampadu, and now Rodon in the centre circle. Wilson Isidore's goal in the 32nd minute. The difference between the two teams, 4 minutes is going to be added on at the end of this first half. Ampadu playing it on to Gruev. I'm sure there were more than 4 minutes worth of stoppages, to be honest, in the first half, but Sunderland will take that, leading 1-0. There goes the board, just held up. We're into those added moments now, added minutes. Leeds in possession. Played back to Gruev, just in front of the centre circle. Rodon out to Bogle. Bogle on this right-hand side, back to Rodon, and now to Ampadu. Closed down by Chris Rigg. Ampadu plays it back to Meslier. Meslier out here now to Tanaka. Job goes to press. Tanaka back into the penalty area. Job trying to cut the route back to the goalkeeper. It's played back to Meslier. Job gives chase. Meslier gets the ball out down this right-hand side.
Pressure.
Just kept in Bogle for James, but headed away by Ballard. Back to Bogle. Then whipped off them by Lefay. Oh, what a lovely little touch from Lefay. Out to Job on this left-hand side. Job trying to get away from Bogle. Bogle brings him down.
That's a free kick.
And that's a yellow card for Bogle.
I tell you what did I say? Lefay will come to the table.
He did. That lovely little touch inside.
Frustration's kicking in with Leeds now, isn't it?
It is. Free kick for Sunderland on the left wing, couple of yards, or a yard in from touch, about 20 yards, if that, from the corner on the left. Sunderland leading 1-0. And the second minute of the 4 being added on.
Good delivery. That's what you need here. Right on half time. Set piece.
And Roberts.
Quality ball in.
Over the ball. 2 in the Leeds wall.
Quality ball in.
Meslier
That's what you
just
need.
Trying to get his sight lined up. And Lefay leaves it for Roberts, who swings this ball in. And there's a header from Isidore, but caught comfortably enough by Meslier. And Luke O'Nien's crouched over the goalkeeper. Rodon pushes him off. The referee has to get involved here now. Rushes in to talk to the Leeds players. Luke O'Nien is marching away as a yellow card
for Isidore.
For Isidore. But I don't think there's anything to do with Isidore. I'm not sure why Isidore's actually getting a booking there.
Who else is he booking now?
He's going to book Ampadu as well, isn't he? So Ampadu, Rodon's alongside of him, but the referee's chatting to both centre halves at the moment. Is he going to show a yellow card here? They're still arguing. Ampadu's still in front of Stuart Atwell. Atwell is not going to take any further action. So another yellow card, but this time to Isidore. Sunderland leading 1-0 from Isidore's goal in the 32nd minute. We're in the 4th minute now of the 4 being added on, but there'll be more now because that was a good stoppage of probably about a minute. Meslier is going to take, well, I assume that's a free kick. Kicks it up to the halfway line. Bogle flicks it on. Cirking back onto the head of Tanaka, onto the head of Neil. Now, Rigg had Solomon's arms all around his shoulders, right in front of the referee, who took no action at all. Comes back to Rodon, and Rodon laying it off to Firpo on the far side, who pushes it on to Solomon down the left wing. Firpo carries on down the left of the penalty area to the goal line, whips the ball back here, looking for James, hooked off the line by O'Nien. James's header.
Corner.
And another corner.
concentration.
So, no, James
beat Sirkin in the air there. Got to be wary of that. Again, command your box.
So the corner from Solomon this time, whipped into the penalty area, headed down towards goal by Rodon, but headed out again. And now just nodded down by Lefay for Roberts to clear as the half-time whistle's blown. And Sunderland leading by 1-0. Isidor's goal in the 32nd minute. Lovely taken goal by Wilson Isidore. Through ball to him.
There's trouble down the
held
tunnel.
off Ampadu. There's trouble down the tunnel as well now, isn't it?
There's trouble down the tunnel.
And it's a tight tunnel as well as they head off the pitch here at Ellen Road. It's tight as the players head down into the dressing rooms. Trey Humes talking to Stuart Atwell, the referee, as he comes off the pitch. He's the last player with Anthony Patterson to leave the field of play. But you think there's been trouble
there was.
Down the tunnel?
One or two of their staff went down the tunnel with Luke O'Nien, didn't they?
O'Nien's always the player that seems to spark things off here. Leeds fans furious, of course, last time out at the handball by Luke O'Nien, which he got away with in that 0-0. But now, half-time here, it's Sunderland who hold the lead. We'll have the full second half, of course, on BBC Radio Newcastle. SLC at half-time. Sunderland.
Matt Bailey at breakfast.
We launched Distinctly Average Spring Watch this morning. It's basically Spring Watch for people who don't see families of otters or duck-billed platypuses in their pond. It's people like you and me who see fat pigeons. My daughter likes to say hi to it most days. It's not moved for months. I don't have the heart to tell it it's quite clearly dead. And Jenny says we've got a Morrison's plastic bag stuck really high in one of our trees. It's been there for a week and a half and I check on it every single day. This is the kind of stuff we want. Distinctly Average Spring Watch continues tomorrow morning. I'll see you then.
Matt Bailey at breakfast.
Just ask your smart speaker to play BBC Radio Newcastle.
And this is Simon Pride back in the Total Sports studio. 1-0 to Sunderland then over Leeds at half-time. Second half to come. Jenny in Durham has messaged to say that was exactly the same time of goal as 1973. Actually, Railton here in the studio pointed that out as well. So maybe, possibly a good omen. If you do want to send us a message, 08000 321 333 on WhatsApp, 81333 on text. Start all your messages with the letters BBC. Let's catch up with former Sunderland striker Marco Gabbiadini, who's also watching at Ellen Road. I enjoyed that first half, Marco. I suspect you enjoyed it even more being amongst the atmosphere there.
Yeah, you'd have to say it was very entertaining. Sunderland have definitely asked Leeds some big questions, and so far Leeds haven't come up with an answer. You know, they've not really troubled us. Yes, they've won a lot of set pieces in the final third, corners and free kicks in wide areas, but you know, we've then defended resolutely, and everyone's putting their body on the line, doing all the good things that you've got to do. And then we've also had the wherewithal, as I spoke about before the game, where when we get possession, we're not hurried. We're not looking for that killer pass straight away. We play 3 or 4 passes and get ourselves up the field and get everybody involved. And you know, we've had a couple of near, you know, opportunities there's been a couple of slide rule passes that haven't quite met the match or been cut out, and but eventually, yeah, we scored a fantastic away goal, classic breakaway goal.
Yeah, and I suspect you enjoyed the way that he took it as well, the way that he used his body.
Yeah, look, it's every striker's sort of goal in a game to isolate defenders, and I think one of the centre-halves just dropped a little bit deeper than the rest of his line, which allowed Wilson to make his run. And then once he got the ball, got onto his chest and he was grappling, and you know, to be fair, the defender had his hands all over him. It could have been a penalty if he hadn't scored. He just let go of him just as he was about to score, make his shot on it, and it, you know, that helped him. But yeah, great play from Isidore. It's a hard task playing when you're playing up front. You know, not just for him, Rig and Roberts, And Lefay, you don't get a lot of the ball in a game like this. It's crumbs really, but they've all done really well. They've all got behind the ball when they've had to. Everybody's putting tackles in, and then you get your rewards and your little payoff at the end with a goal like that. But we've had a couple of good opportunities. I thought we started the game superbly. Enzo Lefay's first touch after about 30 seconds, the ball got rolled down the line to him, and he did a little trick right in the first minute. And you thought, here we go, this is going to be good fun. And he's come to, every time he gets it, he does some little bit of magic before the players even engage to him, and he's causing them a lot of problems. But yeah, equally, Ballard has strode out of defence very well with the ball at his feet. Neil's, been Neil and Job have been very effective in the middle of the park. So yeah, good performances all over the place.
Yeah, Lefay certainly demonstrating once again why supporters absolutely love watching him. In the second half, you would expect to have to withstand some pretty heavy pressure from Leeds, certainly why the scoreline stays as it is. But you would also imagine there will be more opportunities for Sunderland as well, perhaps more so as Leeds commit even more players forward.
It's a fine line, isn't it, for any team, in a game like this where they clearly are wary that Sunderland can outplay them at times, and they've got to take some risk. They don't get the ball forward that quickly. Piero hasn't had that many touches at the top end of the field for them. It's down the flanks. They've got fullbacks who want to push on. And so far, I think we've handled it pretty well. There's been a lot of robust tackling. I think the referees tried to let the game flow a little bit, but I think also we've seen that Leeds have got frustrated and overstepped the mark a couple of times. So, a lot could happen in this second half. I hope that we can, it's that patience thing that I talked about before, where you're going to have to defend. We know that. We know we're going to be in our final third quite a lot. But it's your exit strategy when you win the ball back. And it's hard when you're tired because your brain tells you, I'm going to play this quick ball and get up the field. But actually, that's not the best thing to do. And we've seen what the best thing to do here in the first half is to keep the ball, pass it, help, wait for support. And then, you get up the field and take the pressure off yourselves. And so I think there'll be a lot more of that in the second half as well.
It does have the feeling that it could boil over a little bit, this game. Yeah. Both teams have had players on, or have players on bookings now. Would that be in Sunderland's favour if the game's like that, a bit on edge like that? Do you think, seeing as they're in the lead, or would you prefer them just to have calm heads and try to avoid any kind of confrontation like that, which could result in a flashpoint, it could result in red cards either side?
Look, I think Sunderland have been quite cute in this half. I think they've been a little bit, they've slowed the game right down, really took the sting out of it at times, just by having the ball at the feet and saying, well, what are you going to do about it? There's been, I think Trey Hume absolutely nailed his tackle on the winger, but he also had a bit of afters with him as well while he was lying on the floor, a la Roy Keane. So I think there is a little bit of that going on. And, the way we celebrated the goal was possibly a bit OTT, but you know what? It's working, and it's putting Leeds on the back foot a little bit, and I think we'll maybe see a little bit more of it in the second half. But I thought, Leeds have got to be careful as well because they've got players on yellow cards, and I think the referee's got to actually maybe just put his grip on it a little bit. I thought Rodon was very lucky. I thought he put his head into Wilson's face, actually, and I think in the Premier League they would be looking at that on VAR. They just ignored it, and so there is a little bit of needle out there, which is great. I think we're all enjoying it.
Indeed, Marco, enjoyed the second half. Thank you very much indeed, Marco Gabbiadini, former Sunderland striker. Barnsley and Benno back to give you commentary of the second half. Remember, we will be on air until 10:30 tonight as well to react to the game. Paul has sent a message saying, the main thing is we've kept our shape, great moves, especially from Lefay and Job, with strong defending and attacking all round. Need to do the same again second half says Paula. Keep those messages coming in. 08000 321 333 on WhatsApp, 81333 on text. On a Monday evening on Total Sport, we always like to round up everything else which has happened across the course of the weekend. I have a few minutes now to cram it all in before we go back for the second half. Let's start by talking about what happened to Gateshead at the weekend in the National League. They lost 1-0 at home to Altrincham, who extended their unbeaten run to 9 matches. Cian Taylor with the only goal. Carl Magnay, the Gateshead manager, spoke to BBC Radio Newcastle at full time.
Yeah, there's lots of positives, particularly in the second half, but I think we lost the game in the first half, to be honest. We wanted to try and be aggressive out of possession, so we put an extra man up there, but to be fair to Altrincham, like you say, they're a good side and their patterns of play were better than ours in the first half, and we struggled to get close enough to prevent them from getting at us. That said, we could have been 1-0 up, made a great start, and then we got pegged back. George makes a great save to keep the game at 1-0, but then from there on, I think we had the better chances throughout the game.
South Shields in the National League North lost as well, 2-1 at promotion chasing Chorley. And in the Northern Premier League, Morpeth are now the highest placed of our 3 teams. The Big Prescott Cables 3-1. Nick Ballado, Sam Hodgson and Danny Barlow the scorers. They're up to 7th. Here's their manager Craig Lynch.
The big thing today was a bit of consistency and getting back-to-back wins, because we beat Guiseley well last week, and then we got beat off Works on the Saturday, so it was just great to get back-to-back wins. Delighted with it today, delighted.
Hebburn Town were 2-0 down to Works off after half an hour, pulled it back to 2-2 thanks to Robbie Spence and their manager Daniel Moore from the bench. But then Alexander Stavchenko, who opened the scoring, added his second on the 90th minute. So a defeat for them. Bad afternoon for Blythe Spartans as well, 5-1. They lost at Gainsborough Trinity. And in the East Division, well, a perfect weekend, really. Dunstan beat Bridlington 3-2. Ashington thumped Brighouse by 4-1. Consett won 3-1 at Bradford Park Avenue. And that was their first victory of 2025. And Heaton Stannington, things are looking a lot better for them, aren't they? A 2-0 win at Sherwood Colliery made it 9 points in 8 days. Looks like they could have a really good chance now of staying up when they were in deep trouble. Here's the Heaton Stan manager, Dean Nicholson, on their upturn in form.
We went through, obviously, a real sticky spell. Obviously, 11 games out to win, and you kind of look and think when the next one's coming. But the lads have been unbelievable for the last couple of games and really, really pride themselves. And yeah, so we deserve 9 points from 9. And it's obviously a little 4 above from the relegation zone now, which is huge for us mentally. But yeah, we've got to really, really kick on for this.
Blythe Town are going strong in the Northern League. They beat Carlisle City 3-2 and a 4th consecutive win in all competitions for Easington as well. They beat Crook 4-0. Wickham eased relegation fears by beating Penrith 1-0. And Seaham Red Stars' fight to survive continues. A 3rd win in a row for them. They beat North Shields 1-0. Berwick Rangers look to be on course for a much-needed win in the Scottish Lowland League. And they were 2-0 up against Caledonian Braves after 51 minutes, but it ended up 2-2. So Kevin Haynes still waiting for his first win for Berwick. And let's bring you a little bit of rugby union as well before the second half resumes at Elland Road. Remember, Sunderland leading by 1-0 in our featured match tonight. The Newcastle Falcons lost in the Premiership Rugby Cup for the first time this season, but it was a narrow defeat, 19-17 to fellow Premiership side Sale Sharks. The Falcons had already secured their place in the quarterfinals of the competition, but Sale needed to win to advance. Dean Gray, our commentator, spoke to senior coach Alan Dickens afterwards. He reflected on the fact that despite defeat, both sides, well, they got what they needed.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, and I think ultimately we're disappointed with the loss. But as you said there, we came here, we needed 1 point to finish top of the group, and that's what we've done. So, look, I'm really pleased with the players. Coming to Sale is always tough. And as you say, probably last play of the game, and they've won. So disappointing in that respect, but also lots of positives.
A strange game in, I think there was 30 penalties between the two sides during the game and 22 lineouts. So a really odd game and a bit of a bun fight on the ground as well. What were the plus points for you in terms of performance?
I think that, as you said there, something we talked about at half time about the penalty count. I think it was 8-7. We'd given away 7. A lot of them were at the breakdown. Look, I think the positives for us were that we came away, we got what we needed.
Gloucester at Kingston Park, Friday the 28th of February in the quarter-final. Newcastle Eagles had a couple of wins in the basketball, and the Whitley Warriors lost to Blackburn in the ice hockey, but then beat the Leeds Knights 7-1 last night, beating Leeds 7-1. Perhaps that's an omen for the remainder of this evening. Sunderland leading Leeds United by 1-0 at half-time at Elland Road. Keep the messages coming in. The second half is coming up next.
Half-time highlights.
Total Sport Northeast.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
It's 0-0. Isidore is onside, is he? The referee is running on. Is it? Oh, Shorty's pulled back. He's off the post and yes! Isidore scores in the 32nd minute. It looked like it could have been pulled back in the penalty area, but Isidore kept going and used his strength and put the ball in off the left-hand post, and Sunderland lead by 1-0.
Total Sport Northeast.
Nick Barnes and Gary Bennett, MBE.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
Well, the two assistants are out. They're checking the nets. Benno has very bravely brought me another cup of tea. I don't know if that's wise. I've moved it. The way things are going, I've got it on my left-hand side now. It was on my right-hand side before. Now it's on my blind side, so there's even more jeopardy for this cup of tea. As we wait for the teams to emerge. What are you doing? Oh, sorry, Marcus taking the tea bag out now. It's taking away the cup of tea. Everyone coming back to their seats. A lot of people have wandered off as the Sunderland players emerge from the tunnel just down away to our right. Behind, just in that corner, are all the Sunderland fans tonight. Isidore, both arms raised to the skies. His goal then, the difference between the two teams. Leeds all in white tonight, Sunderland in red and white as they take up their positions away to the left as we look down from the John Charles stand here, the main stand, even though it's not the biggest stand. And Sunderland will kick off the second half, kicking from left to right. It's going to be very interesting as to what Leeds do at the start of the second half, having been able to regroup at half-time, 1-0 down, and be no doubt on the attack to try and get back in the game as quickly as they possibly can. As they emerge now from the tunnel as well, Rodon leads them out. No changes to either team. They were both unchanged at the start of play. Sunderland, Patterson in goal, Hume, Ballard, O'Nien and Sirkin, Neil, Jobe, Roberts, Rigg, Lefay and Isidore. The bench is Moore, Mienda, Mundell, Brown, Alexic, Gielda, Poveda, the former Leeds player, of course, Salisa, Mepham. Leeds, Meslier in goal, back four of Vogel, Rodon, Ampadu and Firpo, Tanaka and Gruev, James, Aronson, Solomon and Hero. As referee Stuart Atwell, all in black, just checking his watch. And we will be underway very, very shortly, as in fact we are now, as Dan Neal pushes the ball back towards Patterson, who launches this back up into the Leeds half, where it's headed on by Tanaka. A stretch which allows Jobe to get the ball, trying to get the ball to Isidore, but Tanaka stabs it away and then tries to stab it away again, but Sunderland have it with Isidore to Jobe, and out on that left-hand side now to Roberts, to Lefay, who slipped it inside, and now out to Roberts from Hume. His ball into the box to Hume, who hits it on the volley straight at Meslier, but it wasn't a bad strike.
Excellent play. Good start.
So Sunderland on the attack straight away at the start of the second half, leading by 1-0. It wasn't a bad strike by Hume, forcing Meslier to go down to make the save. Meslier all in light blue, and Patterson, like the referee, is all in black and dark grey. It's not easy in some senses to tell apart the colours as the ball comes back now to Ampadu inside to Tanaka, who's been capped 29 times by Japan. Here he comes forwards again to the halfway line, short pass to Gruev, the Bulgarian, and across to Rodon, the Welshman, wide on that right touchline is Dan James, another Welsh international, inside to Aronson, the American on the right side of the Sunderland penalty area. Back to Bogle, Tanaka, and he's trying to slip it down the right of the penalty area for James, and it's whipped away by O'Nien. Back up to the halfway line, and Rodon has to come all the way back to pick the ball up for Leeds United. Forwards they come again, Leeds. It's played to Ampadu. And now Ampadu in the centre circle, playing out wide on the left to Firpo. Junior Firpo, signed from Barcelona 4 years ago. Now back to Rodon. Rodon wide to Bogle. Bogle, he tries to slip it through to Pirot. Joel Pirot comes back on halfway to Rodon, Tanaka, and Sunderland very organised, is trying to block Leeds approaches. Solomon wide on the left wing on loan from Tottenham, the Israeli international, and now back with Tanaka. Drives it through, it comes off the backside of Firpo for Dan Neal. Neal slips it on now to Chris Rigg. Rigg trying to find Isidore, but it comes back to Rodon, and the Leeds fans trying to get behind their side now. Just a couple of minutes into the second half. We're in the 48th minute. Sunderland still leading 1-0. We're live on BBC Radio Newcastle. Solomon trying to find Gruev, who has to stretch to get the ball back to Rodon, and Rodon back to Ampadu, and Ampadu now to Tanaka. Closed down by Roberts, being forced back up towards the halfway line, and Tanaka wide to Solomon on this left touchline. Rigg inside here in front of Tanaka as it's played back to the Japanese, and then Ampadu. Isidore wanted to get the ball off him, but it's played wide now to Bogle. Bogle on the right wing, tries a low ball into the penalty area, comes off circuit, it'll be a throw down in the corner on the right for Leeds United, but Isidore, well, let's see, tying his lace. He's tying his laces up. The referee coming back for a word. The Leeds fans not best pleased. Isidore gets up, the throw is taken, it drops for James, back to Bogle. Bogle trying to curl inside, it's cleared by Joe. Isidore now with Rigg. Rigg trying to dig it out, but it's won by Gruev. Too many Leeds players around him. Rodon down the right again to James. Dan James crosses it, comes off the back of circuit. It's another corner for Leeds. Their 9th corner of the game. Their first of the second half. Gruev goes down to take it on the right. Concentration, Nick. At the foot of the Don Revie stand. Both arms raised, left hand, footed, it's put on the head of Job, it's in the air. Isidore trying to nod it out to the edge of the penalty area of the Leeds left. Solomon has run onto this on his right, curling a ball round. No penalties. Tanaka tangles with Sirkin. Both go down. The referee waves away the appeal straight away.
He was never going to win it anyway.
No, the ball was way too high. Solomon's cross. Behind for the goal kick. Leeds 0, Sunderland 1 in the 50th minute now. And here's Patterson's kick up over the halfway line, through the middle. Isidore goes up with Gruev. It comes back to Firpo, who just helps it on its way back to Meslier. Ilan Meslier, 6'6", the French goalkeeper from Lorient. Out to Bogle, down the touchline to James, just in the Sunderland half, and out for another Leeds throw. Quickly taken, back to Bogle, back inside, Rodon, cross to Gruev, Gruev into the Sunderland half, now to Pirot, Neal trying to block him, it's picked up by Tanaka, by Aronson, sorry, a free kick given to Leeds. Foul in the centre. Gruev having a word with the referee, looking a bit frustrated actually about something or other. This in the middle of the Sunderland half. Tap back to Ampadu. Wide then to Firpo. Firpo forced back to Ampadu on the halfway line to Gruev, and then to Rodon. Down the right wing. James again, halfway inside the Sunderland half. Inside to Bogle, still wide. James just behind him. James cutting in now, and he's running into the penalty area. Neil's gone with him. James slipped, but he's still in possession. Crashes a ball against Dan Neil. It comes out now to Rigg. Rigg slips it through the legs of Tanaka. Gruev tries to knock him off the ball, and he's finally knocked down by Firpo. And it's a free kick.
Well done, Chris Rigg.
Just to the left of the centre circle. Did well there, Rigg.
Yeah, and that's what I'm talking about, being brave on the ball.
Strong, fouled a couple of times in the lead up to the actual free kick. The ball with O'Nien. Taps it to Neil. Neil to Ballard. Ballard now wide to Roberts. Roberts trying to sweep it through for Isidore or Rigg, but Gruev tidies up. Ampadu has it now and taps it out to Firpo. Wrestles with Roberts, and eventually the ball slips out for a throw to Sunderland. The assistant was hesitant, but he gave it in the end. Quickly taken, looking for Isidore in the penalty area. Leeds get it away. Roberts is again terrier-like on Firpo. Gets the ball to Isidore in the penalty area down the right. He looks to try and drive it in, but it's blocked and cleared by Ampadu. Only as far as Hume now on the right wing after Neil found it, or won it, and it's out for a throw to the assistant. Don't want to make the decision. He does now. Throw to Sunderland again. 53rd minute. Leeds 0, Sunderland 1. Back it comes to Firpo. Firpo has a whistle for a offside or free kick to Leeds. Played across the road on. Up over the halfway line. Isidore goes to close him down, as does Lefay. Bogle's cross. Ballard will head this out into the middle to Neil. Neil holding off the attentions of Aronson. And it's a free kick
Dan Neil
in the middle of the Sunderland half. That foul by the American. And O'Nien will take this. Right-footed. Driving it down the left wing, looking for Lefay. Bogle heads it away. And it's nodded on by Tanaka over the head of Job. Sliding
Great
in
tackle.
Goes Dan Neil. It's a throw to Leeds. Just inside the Sunderland half. Back it comes to Rodon. Squares it to Ampadu. Ampadu now to Gruev. Gruev out wide to Firpo. Firpo. Roberts has come back with him. And Solomon's just tapped it back to Firpo down this left wing. And Firpo down to Solomon again on the touchline almost. Roberts in front of him. Solomon trying to come round him to the corner of the penalty area. Short pass to Firpo. Back to Solomon in the box.
Great hands.
Tried to square it. Patterson.
Great hands.
Hands right over it and stopped the ball going through.
Tell you what, sharp there, Patterson. Excellent.
Frustration from the Leeds fans as Patterson strolls out, rolls the ball to Luke O'Nien. O'Nien driving this up over the halfway line. Ampadu's got his head on it. Finds Rodon ahead of him. Closed down by Lefay. Gets it wide to Bogle. Bogle in his own half. Lefay's chasing back with him. Slips it through to Aronson, who gets a shove in the back from Job. And that's a ninth yellow card for Job. So Job's walking a disciplinary tightrope now. Picking up that yellow card in the 56th minute.
Just got the wrong side of him. This man, we got to dig deep now.
Remember, if he gets to 10, it's a 2-match suspension. And the amnesty's a long way off.
Defend this.
Free kick then right side of central midfield, halfway inside the Sunderland half. Gruev will take this. He's been taking most of the set pieces. Solomon took one earlier. Just corner.
Mary off Rondon at the far post.
Sunderland with their line, 18 yards. The ball floats in and it goes through to Patterson. Ran across the line and caught it. Still 1-0 to Sunderland. And you can sense the growing frustration amongst the Leeds fans. Out to Sirkin. James in front of him. Sirkin cutting inside, trying to shake off James.
Oh, you get
but
caught.
Then Bogle whips the ball away from Lefay down to the edge of the penalty area. O'Nien tries to clear it. It is Neil who finally gets the ball away, but it comes back for Sirkin to have to deal with this. Out to Job. Job under pressure, picked up by Bogle in the penalty area, again dug out by O'Nien, out to the edge of the area, stabbed away, out to Isidore, runs into Rodon, back it comes up to Bogle's offside. And a free kick to Sunderland.
I think that's the balance where we've got to when to clear your lines and when to play the ball out. You know, sometimes there's nothing wrong with just putting your foot behind it and shifting it 40, 50 yards up the pitch.
57th minute. Patterson throws the ball long ways forwards to take the free kick. Leeds warming up. Well, they're warming up 5 substitutes here, but I don't think
you're not supposed to.
You're not allowed to, are you?
No.
4 you can. But Leeds have got 5 substitutes warming up down here. 4 I know you're allowed, but I'm sure you're not allowed 5. There's the ball nodded down here in the Sunderland half. Little back heel from Pirro, trying to get Aronson or Tanaka away. Tanaka gets the ball out to Bogle on the touchline. Slips it through now, straight to Ballard, who passes it out to Job. Now to Neil, lets it run through, looking for Rigg to run onto it. But it comes back out to Bogle on the right wing. Taps it back to Rodon. And Rodon across here to Ampadu.
Got to weather the storm.
And forwards through the middle to Pirro and out wide to Solomon on the left-hand side. Solomon taking on Roberts here at the edge of the penalty area. Slipping it through to Aronson. Now to Tanaka, who tries to chip through the penalty area and behind for a goal kick.
That's it. You've got to weather the storm. As it goes on, Nick, they'll get frustrated.
1-0 then to Sunderland. 59th minute, just over half an hour to play. And Marcus has removed that. It's empty, that one. That's not in the danger zone anymore, that one. As the ball comes all the way back up the other end for Firpo to deal with. Across to Rodon, back to the goalkeeper Meslier. Meslier in light blue but with bright orange gloves and boots. Taps the ball to Ampadu. Up through the middle. Picked up by Aronson in the centre circle. Neil tried to tackle him. Aronson's held him off. Looks for Solomon, but then Hume gives the ball back to Aronson. Now to Firpo on this left-hand side, and wide to Solomon. Hume in front of him, slips inside, and then is fouled by Rigg. Free kick to Leeds. And this is on the left of midfield, 20 yards out.
Just got to keep alert. That's what we've got to do.
Yeah. You know what we need? There's a second goal. But at the moment, Leeds are the enforcers. They're keeping the ball up in the Sunderland half.
Concentration here again.
Gruev again with the free kick on this left side. There's a stanchion down in front of us.
Yeah, hold that penalty spot.
Blocks out a line of view, but it's ball headed out by Isidore. Aronson tries to volley it back in, but wide of the right post. Goal kick to Sunderland.
They're going to make changes in a little while, Nick.
Well, they've got that many substitutes warming up.
Yeah. They'll have to try
half the team by the looks of things.
They'll have to try something different.
Patterson then with a goal kick. The two centre-backs either side of him. They go out, pushed out, and Patterson will kick. Drives it up down the right-hand side. Hume beaten in the air by Firpo. Up goes Ballard with Pirro. It drops to Solomon. Hume, great tackle. I thought he got the ball.
He's got the ball.
I thought he got the ball. And the referee's going to give him a yellow card. And I think that's harsh on Hume. He came in from behind and got the ball. Hume, the third Sunderland player booked tonight. Referee, what's he's calling?
Solomon. He wants to Solomon and Hume in. Been having words, aren't they?
Solomon, Firpo
is he getting booked
Junior
as well?
Firpo. Is he being booked, Firpo? He's been called to Stuart Atwell and is spoken to, but he's not shown a yellow card, Firpo. Sunderland have got a couple of substitutes warming up. Alan Brown and Romain Mundle amongst the Leeds substitutes warming up. I think Mepham might be down there warming up as well, actually, but he's in a full tracksuit. The ball across to Bogle from the free kick, down the right wing to James, trying to cut inside, then rolls it through. Aronson in the penalty area on the right. No penalty. Leeds fans furious. I assumed it was a handball they were appealing for.
Yeah, he's played against him and he's just fired it in.
But the referees waved it away again.
Yeah, he knew straight away.
And away come Leeds again over the halfway line on the right-hand side as Sunderland had cleared it. Bogle back to Rodon. Inside to Tanaka. Now to Ampadu in the centre circle to Gruev. Gruev down this left-hand side now, trying to slip it inside. Neil cuts it out, tries to shake off Solomon, and Solomon then has to chase this ball. Hume's on it. Hume runs on and plays the ball straight to Tanaka, and eventually
better keep hold of the ball.
Rodon in the centre circle, trying to lift it over the top for Solomon. Hume heads it away. Rigg to Roberts. It comes off him, and Tanaka has it for Leeds, slipping it through to Pirro, who's got James to his right, and it's on now back to James, edge of the area. Great tackle by Ballard. Across comes Rigg, gets in front of Gruev, and then it's won by Firpo. Firpo to Solomon in the penalty area on left. Back to Tanaka, urged to shoot, curls it round the post. Wants the corner, is not going to get it.
Yeah, I just think we need another midfield player on. Maybe Chris Riggs get a bit tired now. Bit of experience, maybe bring Alan Brown on, or even bring Mundell on and play him on the left-hand side and bring Lefay inside. We just need to get hold of the ball.
There are that many players warming up down below. Sunderland have got 4 warming up. Leeds have got 5 warming up. Patterson with the kick. Drives this up over the halfway line. Hangs in the air over Isidore in the 64th minute. Sunderland still leading 1-0. We're live on BBC Radio Newcastle.
We need somebody to get the foot on the ball, Nick.
Firpo
manage
to Rodon.
The game.
Rodon plays it back to Ampadu. Daniel Farkas strolling back, arms folded, his big overcoat, takes his seat in the dugout as Rodon comes away down this right-hand side, up to the halfway line. And a couple of Sunderland players slip, get themselves up quickly. Wow. It's back here to Ampadu, out to Firpo on the left-hand side. Roberts goes to close him down. Firpo's cross is headed out by Ballard, only as far as Tanaka. Tanaka has Job in front of him. And now in the middle of the Sunderland half, out to his left, the Firpo, who plays a ball in straight to Patterson.
Slow things down.
Who catches it, gratefully falls upon it.
Yeah, we've got to take this thing out of the game.
Mundell is stretching and warming up. I wonder if he's going to come on. As Patterson, high kick in the air over the halfway line. Rodon's got his eye on it, heads it powerfully forwards over Ballard's shoulder back to Patterson, who catches it as it bounces up into his hands. Regis Lebris in conversation with Alessandro Bartarini. And it comes back up to Rodon, who nods it out to the right. Bogle. Lefay is putting pressure on Bogle. The ball goes out. It's a throw to Sunderland. 65th minute. Sirkin with the throw. Back to Job on halfway. Back again to O'Nien. Across here to Ballard. Ballard now down the right to Hume. Hume rolls it down the touchline, but it just runs away from Rigg and goes out for a throw, which Leeds take quickly. Gruev to Ampadu. Leeds trailing 1-0. Their only home defeat was Burnley back in September, 1-0. As the ball comes to Gruev again. Back to Ampadu. Ampadu on to Rodon. Still in the Leeds half, just. Tanaka in the centre circle. Cross to Gruev on the left. And he drives it forwards to Solomon. Tries to get around Dan Neil, who's going with him. Solomon plays it out to the right to Bogle. Bogle onto James. And Dan James, Sirkin in front of him, trying to get away from Sirkin. Comes across the centre, lays it off behind to Rodon. And then down the right again to Solomon, who plays it back to Rodon. And then Ampadu. Gruev. Forwards to Pirro. Back to Ampadu. Forwards to Tanaka just a few yards. Tanaka just a few yards. And then to Gruev. Back to Ampadu. Then across to the right again to Rodon. Wide to Bogle. Lefay goes with Bogle. Sirkin's across there as well. And Bogle's trying to get through, but Lefay's got the ball off him and Sirkin clears. but straight to a Leeds player. Got to do better. And James. Back to Ampadu, forwards to Rodon. This is inside the Sunderland half. Is chipped up towards Bogle, but O'Nien heads it out to Lefay, and now Job, who's just trying to turn it with his left foot down the left wing, but it goes out for a Leeds throw. We're halfway through the second half.
That's why we're talking, Nick, when we've won the ball. We need to get hold of it, keep hold of the ball.
More players. Pervader's going for a warm-up now as well, as the ball comes back to Gruev, takes it down the left of midfield, out wide to Solomon. Roberts goes to close him down. Down goes Solomon, picks himself back up again. A back heel from Roberts, but Solomon's still on the ball.
No foul.
He's managing to get away, but gives the ball to Rigg. Now looking for Isidore. Plays it out to Neil, a little bit overhit. Okay. Neil barks something at Isidore. Tanaka takes the throw to Gruev, and then to Ampadu. And Ampadu into the Sunderland half. Wide to Dan James. Dan James, only 5'7", former Manchester United midfielder from Hull. Gruev down the left on to Solomon, and he's fouled by Rigg. But the referee's allowed play to go on. Little back heel into Aronson from Pirro. Comes out to Neil. Now Rigg. Can Rigg get the ball away here? But there's too many white shirts around him.
Got to keep hold of
it.
Lefay's
battling in his foul.
Slow the game down.
Clips him, brings him down. You just need to slow it down a bit. Just try and regain some control here, Sunderland. The 69th minute. Leeds United 0, Sunderland 1. O'Nien coming out to take the free kick. Short to Job. Job on to Lefay. Out to Sirkin, wide on the left. Back again to O'Nien, away from Pirro, back to Patterson, and now to Ballard. Sunderland, of course, at home to Hull City on Saturday at 12:30. We'll have full commentary of the game as Bogle heads the ball away. It's dropped to Job, and then on the left, it's with Lefay. It comes out for another Sunderland throw, a rare foray into the Leeds half. Back to Luke O'Nien in the Sunderland half. Inside to Dan Neil. Back to Luke O'Nien, and he's kind of trying to find Roberts with a great ball down the right wing. Firpo goes to close him down. Hume's on the run down the right. Roberts has gone across the back. He's going to shoot with his left, and Meslier has to go down and make the save. So Meslier forced into a save finally in the 70th minute.
They're going to make a triple substitution.
Leeds are. So 1-0, Sunderland still lead. Who are Leeds going to bring on here?
Nonto's coming on. That's
Nonto,
sure.
Yeah, he'll be one of them, won't he?
I think Joseph's coming on as well.
Could even be four changes, actually. It's back with Meslier. Out to Ampadu. Forwards to Gruev. And up to the halfway line for Leeds as they start to make the preparations for the changes they're going to make. Ampadu into the Sunderland half. Now Gruev. Cross to Rodon. Forwards to Bogle. And then down from Pirro to James. James slips it inside to Pirro, who shoots. Down goes Patterson to save it. O'Nien heads it away out to Roberts here on the right-hand side. Struik's coming on as well. Pascal Struik, defender. A foul on Rigg.
Good save by Patterson.
It was a good save. It's a good shot from Pirro.
Here we go. Is that Sam Byron? No.
It's certainly Struik.
No. Rothwell.
So Gruev's coming off. So as Joe Rothwell's on loan from Bournemouth, well, he was. Tanaka's coming off as well. A stroke, the Dutch defender coming on.
Ampadu's gone midfield, hasn't he?
That's where he always used to play. 71 minutes, those two changes. As the players were warming up, Chris Mepham and Joe Rothwell enjoying quite a lengthy conversation, the two Bournemouth players, both on loan at their respective clubs, as The ball swept up by Lefay to the edge of the area, and Strauch heads the ball away for Leeds, out to the right-hand side, where James drives it back into the Sunderland half. Ballard heads it on, and now it's headed on by Rothwell. Out it goes to James on the far side. The overlap coming from Bogle. Looking for it in the middle is Rothwell. James still goes on with this, crosses, looking, well, hoping to get Solomon, but Humes headed the ball out, and Jobs headed it further out into midfield. Now picked up by Firpo. Firpo, he's got Rigg on his shoulder. He puts the ball out. Dominican Republican international. It's a throw to Sunderland on the right side, inside their own half. Leeds 0, Sunderland 1. We played 72 minutes. A few discussions taking place.
Mayenda's coming on, is he?
Is it Mayenda or is it Mundell? It's hard to say at the moment. But there's definitely going to be a change. The ball played up to Isidore. He's surrounded by white shirts. The ball goes out. The assistant flags finally for... It's Salis actually who's coming on.
Salis?
Yeah. Salis is going to be the Sunderland change. One assumes, will it be Rigg? Comes off. Rodon pushing on. And he's halfway inside the Sunderland half, looking for James wide on the right. Sirkin in front of him, Lefay there too. They do enough to get the ball to Job, who just launches it back up into the Leeds half. Rigg sprints right back up. Strauch there, though, to stroke it back to the goalkeeper, Meslier. Back out to Pascal Strauch, the 25-year-old Dutchman. And then Ampadu, and wide Rodon. Wide again, down the touchline to Dan James, running at the right side of the penalty area. He's got the two defenders in front of him. Lefay makes the break, makes the block, comes back to Sirkin, who turns and hooks it away. Mayenda is
coming on as
going
well.
to come on as well for Sunderland. It's going to be a double switch by Regis Lebris. Strauch, Firpo, and out to Solomon on the left-hand side. Leeds 0, Sunderland 1 still in the 74th minute. Back to Strauch, and now with Rothwell. Joe Rothwell, who began his career with Manchester United, and now with Ampadu, looking for James. He tries to cross. It comes off the back of Aronson, hooked away by Rigg up towards the centre circle. And Strauch's there for Leeds United, just taps it to Rothwell. Rothwell now driving on the left side of midfield, out to Firpo on this left-hand side. Down the left wing again to Solomon. Solomon has Hume and Roberts in front of him, dribbling at the pair of them, then takes it on his right, crosses towards the far post, and it curls round behind for a goal kick.
Yeah, I think one of the concerns for Reggie Lebris is that we're sitting a little bit too deep. We've got no outlet, have we?
Well, Rigg's
we're winning
off
the ball and we're giving it straight back.
Yeah. So 15 minutes to see out. Unless Mayenda can conjure up something in the 15 minutes that he's on. But who's he on for? Will it be for Isidore, won't it?
Oh, no, Isidore.
Isidore's the player that's heading off here and applauding the Sunderland fans. Isidore's goal, the difference between the two teams at the moment, is 12th of the season.
He's put a shift in, hasn't he, Chris Rigg?
He has. The only blot on the game is the fact that Jobs picked up a 9th yellow card this afternoon. Mayenda comes on then, or this evening. Both sides have made 2 changes. We're into the final 15 minutes and Sunderland lead 1-0. Patterson has a goal kick. Drives this up over the halfway line. Hume's got his eye on it, wrestles with Solomon. Heads it on towards Roberts, who slips it inside to Salis, who now gets it inside again to Lefay. Job, and now Sirkin. It just bounces off him, and it's come back to him again, off Rodon. And he tried to slip it through here to Mayenda, but it's Rothwell who manages to steer it back to the goalkeeper to clear. Meslier up to Pirro on the halfway line, who off his chest finds Aronson. Now Ampadu, Bogle on the right-hand side, and Bogle on the halfway line. Inside now to Rothwell. Rothwell to Strauch, who comes to the halfway line with Rothwell. Rothwell still here on the ball. and he's just laid it off again on the left to Strauch and out to Firpo on the left-hand side. Roberts goes with him, trips him.
Silly.
That's a silly foul, just caught him. And it's going to be a free kick on the left wing, 16 yards from the corner for Leeds United, who play from right to left as we look down from the...
They're going to make another double substitution.
John Charles stand. They are.
Nonto.
Nonto.
Josephs, I think it is.
Matteo Joseph. 21-year-old Spaniard. Nonto, the Italian international. So Joseph and...
it might not be him.
In fact, it's not Nonto, is it?
No.
It's...
Ramazani,
the 23-year-old Belgian. So, double
concentrate away.
Substitution. The ball comes in, it's not in. Concentration lapse for a second, and Strauch, the substitute, has put the ball in.
Yeah.
Strauch in the 78th minute has scored the equaliser for Leeds. The free kick whipped in from the left-hand side, and it's Strauch who got on the end of it. Powerful header, bounced up off the goal line into the roof of the net, leaving Patterson with no chance. The substitution's being made now as well. So
Arleton's off.
Solomon comes off.
Solomon's off.
11
and 14 are off.
So it's all square at Ellen Road. The free kick on the left was too powerful for Sunderland to keep out. Aronson and Solomon are replaced. It's 1-1. Sunderland have got to make sure now they don't concede a second. And it's Leeds in the ascendancy at the moment, trying to get forwards down the right. A foul by Sirkin, who is going to be booked now.
Yeah.
He escaped the booking in the first half. He's now been booked in the second half. So suddenly the atmosphere is transformed in Ellen Road. Strauch's equaliser, his fourth goal of the season, incidentally. And the ball back on halfway with Rodon. Leeds United 1, Sunderland 1. Rodon closed down by Mienda. The ball goes back to Meslier. Will Sunderland get another chance? That's the question. We're in to the last 10 minutes. We've played 80 minutes. Leeds 1, Sunderland 1. They've only drawn 2 games here this season. And one of those was on New Year's Day against Blackburn Rovers. There's the ball at the edge of the Leeds area. Meslier now has it. He rolls it out to Rodon. Rodon plays out wide again to Bogle, away from the fade, down the touchline. Little flick on from James to Pirot, who's trying to get around O'Nien into the penalty area to James. James now, he's up, played it back to Pirot, whose shot is blocked, and Roberts tries to clear it. Drops for Lefay, and Lefay trying to dig this out. Bogle went to win it off him. Lefay plays it out into touch for a Leeds. No, a Sunderland throw, says the assistant. 1-1. 81 minutes played. 9 minutes to play. Leeds still warming up 4 substitutes. Sunderland aren't warming up many, just the one. Hard to say who it is. It's Paveda, I think. is warming up. Will we see Poveda back at his former club? Here's Firpo in the middle, the back of the centre circle, lays it off to Rodon. Leeds will want to win this. A point would be a very good point for Sunderland. They don't want to suck Leeds on, though. Here now, Rodon. Joseph is playing up front, trying to find Ramazani on the break. Comes back to Matteo Joseph, who leaves it for Firpo. Firpo on the left. Ramazani's made the run. Offside. They're appealing for offside. The flag comes up.
I think they'll make a substitution, take Roberts off. He's out on his feet. Patrick Roberts.
He's really put a shift in
right hand side.
Poveda, I suspect, will come on for Roberts. All the Leeds fans rise as one when Leeds are on the break. They all reseat themselves as one. And Patterson has this free kick. In the 83rd minute, Leeds United 1, Sunderland 1. As Patterson has a yellow card for Patterson now. It's his second yellow card of the season. I don't think he'll lose too much sleep over getting that card tonight. It is the 5th Sunderland player booked tonight. Patterson with the free kick then. Drives this into the Leeds half, down the right-hand side, out for a throw to Leeds, over Hume's head. Firpo will take the throw for Leeds, 84th minute. Here's Firpo again, taps it back to Strout, the scorer of the equaliser, with the header from close range. O'Nien has to stride back because Joseph's trying to get in front. He plays it back to Patterson. Joseph sprints across, Patterson clears with his left foot out. It'll go for a throw to Leeds on halfway, on the right, which Bogle takes quickly to Joseph. And Joseph to Bogle, back to Dan James. It breaks for Ballard though. Ballard has to get it away from Joseph quickly, and Bogle's trying to get in on Lefay. Lefay's come away with the ball, runs into Ampadu. Ampadu on the right side of central midfield, taps it behind him to Rothwell, out to Bogle again, back onto the halfway line to Rodon, and now on to Bogle and back across, on to Rothwell and out to Strout on this left-hand side. Finding Firpo, looking for Ramazani. Ballard gets there first and puts the ball out for a throw. 85th minute. Leeds 1, Sunderland 1.
Yeah, you have to dig deep here.
Firpo, back to Strout. Strout, back to Rodon. On the halfway line. Bogle on the far side. Roberts jogs into the centre.
He has to make a substitution.
Well, there is going to be, Poveda's going to come on here. He's stripping off now. Rothwell. Back it goes to Strout, and Rodon and the two centre-backs play it between them. Then Rothwell leaves it for Ampadu. Forwards to Ramazani. It comes back to Ampadu. Ramazani had a spell at Manchester United. Didn't quite work out. Went to Almeria. Here's Dan James on the right to cross. It's going to, well, it came off the foot of Hume. He couldn't clear it. Ramazani runs onto it. Hume trying to get the ball off him. Roberts just shoulder barges Ramazani off the ball. Comes away with this here. Shakes off Firpo. Then with his left foot tries to find Lefay. Bogle heads it on to James. James away down the right-hand side. Tackled on that far side. A throw. Sirkin made the challenge. Poveda will come on. I'm sure it'll be Roberts who goes off. As Bogle is waiting for the substitution to be made.
I think the biggest worry for Sunderland and everybody's thinking is that, you know what we're like, especially when it goes into injury time. You know, concentration has got to be key.
Not quite sure how much added time there'll be. There've not been a huge amount of stoppages in the second half. It's been fairly relentless.
One or two tired legs out there, Nick.
There are. And Leeds have got the bit between their teeth. Now they're back in it. 1-1. Sirkin heads it away from Bogle. Lefay to Salis, trying to get it back out to Lefay. Headed on by Rodon. Kept in by James. Tired challenge by Lefebvre. Bogle's cut inside. Pirot trying to waltz through, but it's knocked away out to Lefebvre, who's fouled by Ampadu. And it's going to be a free kick to Sunderland. Just endeavouring to slow it down. And it's taken back to O'Nien. 36,804 inside Ellen Road tonight. It's been a good game. It's been end to end. It's been largely Leeds in the second half, as you'd expect.
See the game out. That's what we've got to do.
And as you say, Sunderland have got to see this out. 1-1. We played 87 minutes. Here's Dan James trying to get the ball down the right for Bogle. Drops out for a throw. It came off the back of a Sunderland player. Dan James gets it from the throw. Sirkin forces him back. Rodon now on the right. He's trying to get the ball down to Bogle. Sirkin heads it away to Joe.
Give it away.
Give them back to Leeds.
Ball.
Picked up by James. Inside to Pirot, up to Ramazani at the edge of the area. Job tries to play it back to the keeper. Comes back out to Pirot. Drives it at Sirkin. Half-hearted appeals for a handball. But it's cleared back down into the Leeds half and out for a Leeds throw. Quickly taken by Rodon. Onto the halfway line. Ampadu looking to try and get the ball through to Ramazani. Cleared by Hume to Dan Neal. Neal now looking for options. Finds Salis, who's a long way forwards here, and gets it out on the right here to Poveda. Poveda now, corner of the penalty area, slips it to Hume. Hume tries to slip the ball back inside, but too many Leeds defenders around him to block it. And now Poveda trying to win it in the corner, and the flag comes up. It's a free kick. Or has it gone out behind? It went out behind, I think. No, it is a free kick. It was a free kick for foul by Poveda. It's with Meslier. We're in the 89th minute. Meslier again, just playing it at the back here to Strauch. Comes out on this left-hand side to Firpo. Firpo away from Poveda. It's knocked by Hume down. He has to clear it at the second attempt. Up to Dan Neal, just short of the halfway line. Steers it away from Rothwell to O'Nien, who's got Joseph on his shoulder. And O'Nien turns and comes back into his own half.
Well done.
Slips it to Ballard.
The ball.
Ballard back to O'Nien. How much time will we get at the end of the game to see out Sunderland? It's 1-1. And now O'Nien to Ballard. And Ballard, we're into the last minute. We're into the 90th minute. Ballard's longer ball up towards Mienda. Mienda nods it on, trying to get around Strauch, but Strauch chests it away from Mienda, then taps it to Firpo and plays it back into the penalty area to Ampadu. Ampadu comes striding out of the Leeds penalty area, out through midfield, checks for a minute, and now comes on again to Rodon and out to Bogle, back to Rodon and inside to Ampadu again. And Ethan Ampadu, short pass to Rothwell, back to Ampadu, across to Strauch here, and the goal scorer for Leeds finds Firpo. Poveda whips across the face of him. Now, he's pulled back by Firpo. It's a yellow card for Firpo for pulling Poveda back down in the 90th minute. Seconds away from finding out how much time will be added on here. It's Leeds United 1, Sunderland 1.
5 minutes? 3 minutes?
4 or 5. It's going to be 5. 5 minutes. So we're into those 5 minutes now. The ball is with O'Nien at the edge of the Sunderland penalty area. Plays it to Ballard. It's 1-1 here at Ellen Road. And certainly Sunderland would have taken a point before kickoff today, as it's headed out by Sirkin. They held on until the 78th minute, leading 1-0. Isidore had given them the lead in the 32nd. Here's Strauch at the back again with Rodon. The Dutchman gets the ball back again and plays it across to Rothwell here. They're going to be another change for Leeds. They're going to bring on Sam Byron, the 31-year-old now, as Firpo plays the ball into the penalty area. It's the D, nearly broke for Joseph, but Ballard manages to pass the ball out.
Give the ball away.
And it's given away again. It's in the air though. Comes down for Salis, trying to nod it to Poveda, who's fouled. And Byron will come on for Firpo, so it's a straight swap. So the fresh legs of a defender, Sam Byram, the former Norwich defender, comes on. And the free kick tapped by Hume to Ballard. We've played a minute and a half, the minimum 5. It's Leeds United 1, Sunderland 1. And here's Ballard. And Ballard trying to get the ball hooked forward over the halfway line, straight onto the chest of Byram. And Byram, his foul was even. The referee says play on. Now with Salis. Salis looking for Mayenda. Mayenda taking the ball down the right of the Leeds penalty area. He's trying to come past 2 Leeds players, slips it into Salis. And Salis now on the right, plays it back to Hume, into the middle, a bit short the ball, it's gone to Joseph. He played it short for Neil, and Joseph runs into Luke O'Nien, and O'Nien's booked now on the halfway line. They're picking up yellow cards like Christmas cards now, Sunderland. That's the 6th yellow card in the game for Sunderland. That on the halfway line. We're in the 3rd minute of the 5 being added on. I think that will be extended as the referee watches play start again. Rothwell to Bogle, and now out on the right to Bogle again.
Concentrate.
Forwards down the line to James and Pirro on the touchline. As Sunderland trying to win it back through Lefay, but Pirro is pirouetting through the lot of them. Then Joseph trying to get the ball out to Bogle on the right, comes back here now into Ampadu, plays it square across to Rothwell. Rothwell down to Byram on this left wing, gets it away from Poveda, back to Strauch, and we're in the 94th minute. It's 1-1. It's with Rodon in the Sunderland half, out to Bogle on the right wing, looking to try and slip it into Pirro. Job has got the better of him this time and now drives the ball out up over the halfway line. It'll run away from Poveda. He's never going to get there. Strauch runs onto it. We're into the 4th minute of the 5 being added on. Leeds 1, Sunderland 1. Ampadu to Strauch. Strauch on the halfway line. Closed down by Salis. Played back to Ampadu. Ampadu in the centre circle. Now to Rodon. Mayenda gives chase. Out to Bogle on the right wing. Lefay in front of him. And Jayden Bogle now trying to take on Lefay. Now he cuts inside. He gets into the penalty area. A slip by Sirkin. And Patterson saves it. The ball goes out behind from Patterson for a corner kick. They have to defend this. We're in the 5th minute of the 5 being added on. It was just tipped round the post over the goal line by Patterson.
This is when they've got to dig deep, Nick. Tired.
Yeah.
You know, they've just got to dig deep, concentrate.
Rothwell's gone down to take the corner on the right. It's Leeds' 10th
No
corner.
free headers.
Leeds leave 3 back out of the penalty area and the goalkeeper. Joseph strides into the 6-yard box. Rothwell with the corner from the right-hand side then. Here come Leeds with this corner. Away. It's headed by Byram and then Salis. Ramazani is shot. Well, it's become a cross for Rothwell. Rothwell whips it back in again and scores. Joe Rothwell in the 95th minute has won it for Leeds. Ramazani's shot became a cross and Joe Rothwell whips it back in to win the game for Leeds United.
What can you say?
Sorry?
What can you say?
I know. What can you say? It's 2-1 to Leeds. Sunderland can't believe it. Is Strauch going to claim that? Did it come off? Strauch. Rothwell whipped it back in. I think it may well have come off the centre half. You're going to have to watch a replay of that, who it touched last. Strauch's been given the goal. Pascal Strauch's been given the goal. Rothwell's ball back in. And a double from the substitute. Ramazani from the corner on the right. It came out to Ramazani, who put it back across the penalty area. Rothwell put it back in again on the right side. He whipped it in with his left, and Strout got behind. I mean, Rothwell may well claim. Absolute heartbreak for Sunderland, who gave their all tonight. But two late goals from Leeds, 78th minute and 95th minute. And it's Leeds through Pascal Strout who claim all 3 points. Nobody has left Ellen Road. They're celebrating like they won the championship. Cruel, cruel, cruel on Sunderland. All the Leeds players just celebrating on the pitch. Sunderland's players heading towards the tunnel. Chris Rigg just rubbing his head, can't believe it, can't believe what they've just seen. Sunderland's players stand to applaud the Sunderland fans. But that's brutal, absolutely brutal, to lose it in the 5th minute of added time.
Yeah, and I just felt that there was tired legs out there, and you could feel, and you know, you're just thinking Leeds could easily sneak this. You know, conceding from 2 set pieces. The question being, do you think we should have brought on another defender to deal with them balls coming in the box?
Well, that's an argument for afterwards.
It's all ifs and buts now.
I'm sure there'll be plenty of people with plenty of opinions now on what should or shouldn't have been done late in the game. Isidore gave Sunderland the lead in the 32nd minute, but the Leeds substitute Pascal Strout in the 78th and the 95th minute with 2 headers has given Leeds victory here at Ellen Road in front of 36,804. It's finished Leeds United 2, Sunderland 1.
Matt Bailey at breakfast.
We launched Distinctly Average Spring Watch this morning. It's basically Spring Watch for people who don't see families of otters or duck-billed platypuses in their pond. It's people like you and me who see fat pigeons. Andrew's been on. He says we've got a snail that lives on the wall just outside our back door. My daughter likes to say hi to it most days. It's not moved for months. I don't have the heart to tell it it's quite clearly dead. And Jenny says we've got a Morrison's plastic bag in it every single day. This is the kind of stuff we want. Distinctly Average Spring Watch continues tomorrow morning. I'll see you then.
Matt Bailey at breakfast.
Just ask your smart speaker to play BBC Radio Newcastle.
And this is Simon Pride back in the BBC Radio Newcastle studio. We're on air until 10:30 this evening, so plenty of time for you to send your message or give us a call. Here are the numbers that you need. Benno will stay at Ellen Road to speak to you, to hear what you have to say on your messages until 10:30 this evening. 0800 234 6565. That's the number you need to call. 08000 321 333 on WhatsApp. Start your message with the letters BBC. If you want to text us, it's 81333. Again, starting please with the letters BBC. Sunderland beaten by 2-1 then. Wilson Isidore putting them ahead in the first half. But Pascal Struijk for Leeds with 2 goals in the 78th minute and then cruelly in the 5th minute of injury time, giving Leeds United the win. They go back to the top of the championship table. And as far as Sunderland are concerned, well, stranger things have happened, but it is now